the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God made you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called it, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Woo-hoo. Build your own house. I like that clip. It's got a lot of good points in it. You got Ossie Davis in there. You got John Henry Clark, which I think everybody should look up. And you got Malcolm X with the who taught you to hate being you. And I think that's a big problem. I was talking to someone today. I said, we got a problem with self-hate and self-love, and they wanted to debate me on the whole scriptural side of things and this and this, and I said, not only do a lot of these people not know God, they don't know the devil is real. And quite often, and I know they are one of the people that frequent these, what we used to call corner stores when we were growing up, that were, well, first of all, when I was a kid, it wasn't a whole lot of foreign stores in the neighborhood. We may have had one Chinese store and a store ran by the Greeks called Ariston's. Arab stores, that's really wasn't around like that. Then they started coming, I think more so in the 80s, we started seeing more of these stores opening in black communities, because that's the formula they're taught in their country, that black people don't care about themselves or their kids or their community. Go there, take all the money, and continue on your way. Let the natives kill each other, talk to them any type of way, sell them inferior products at a higher price. Where my store is at in South Shore happens to be a store called Big Celine's. Let me see if I can put up this demonstration here. Should have did this beforehand, so bear with me, people. Okay, it's on the screen here. This is kind of just a quick search of how many of these marts are in the South Shore area. Just looking at the screen, you're looking at between Woodlawn, 71st and 75th, at least 20 stores. And I can guarantee you at least 18 of them are, in fact, ran by foreigners. But this is our community. This is what we have assigned ourselves to, because I don't want to say we don't have enough sense to understand what's going on, or we're not taught the right way We're not talking about neighborhood opportunity funds, funding given by the government that you don't have to pay back to open stores in blighted urban communities. At the same time they're doing this, they're taking the TIF money that was supposed to be for urban communities and moving that to influent neighborhoods to build up their neighborhoods. These funds are, you can get $250,000, and they're acting, I know this site is full of crap, because they're saying this neighborhood opportunity fund was created in 2016, so obviously they called it something else before then, because we know that these corner stores have been around for much longer than that. So you get these people, foreigners come from out of town. Some of the stipulations in these opportunity funds are that you must open your store in a urban area, a black community. Doesn't say we're going to give you money to open it somewhere else, specifically in a black community. So you get this money, you're already coming from a war-torn country where they shooting on the streets acting a fool anyway, so you can deal with the natives. You're going to put up some plexiglass and things like that, and, you know, let the natives come on in, and we're going to talk crazy to them because they're going to accept it. They're going to keep coming over here spending their money because ain't no black stores. So lately, and I can't even say lately, these places have been an area, not only an eyesore in the community, because they're usually not the best kept stores. Some of them have bad smells and everything. But lately, these have become the area of homicides and murders and drug dealing and fighting throughout our communities. Just in the last Friday, we had a double homicide where a young man ran into the store, 16-year-old ran into the store to shoot some people, obviously missed them because they turned around, shot and killed him. We just passed the anniversary of George Floyd's murder. Here's a picture showing him in the convenience store. This is another picture of people at the Golo gas station, and somebody comes in and guns them down. These people, and we can't blame them totally because they're not the ones doing the shooting. But they are providing an environment because they're not concerned with what you do to your brother man or anything like that. All they're concerned with, are you coming in here to buy some spliffs, some beer, some other products, because you dare not have to go 4 or 5 blocks to a bigger store who probably doesn't care about you either, but the quality is a little better. I don't mess with stores like Big Celine's and stuff like that. That's the store across the street from me. I said, I don't know these people. I just know the environment and what it breeds. Just like when the projects were built and everybody loved the projects, and then you had to realize over a certain amount of time you put all that poverty and you add drugs to it, and now you've created a deadly cocktail, not only for the bad people, but for the innocent people. So we see all these innocent people getting killed. There was a homeless man named Will that would be out there every day across the street. And he unfortunately was shot and killed because of the ignorance of another young man. Now, a year ago, around the same time, there was another murder in that same lot. Been a couple of shootings, drug dealing. And I've just noticed wherever we go, we seem to keep running into all this shooting and killing at these stores. Now, people will say, where are we supposed to go if not here? But, I mean, it's a good question. But first, let's start by saying, don't go there. I just put on the screen just in the last month, like I say, that same weekend that happened across the street from my store, a few blocks away, a young man was killed that had a dance studio for young kids trying to keep them off the street. Then a few days later, two more people, a young lady and a young man, were shot and killed. Then two more people were killed in East Garfield Park. And then more and more, two more people were shot and killed in Lawndale. So that's an ongoing thing at these convenience stores, at these liquor stores that seem to be all over our areas. So if you look, like I say, you look at this area right here. So we're looking at that area. And it seems like a big area, but it's really not a big area for that many stores. If you look at the list, most of them are on 71st Street, 75th Street. But none of them are ran by us. So you got to look at all the money that is spent at these stores that is taken out of the neighborhoods. How do we effectively have any type of input in the neighborhood if we don't own anything? If we're not owning the stores, and these are just the convenience stores. There are other stores, furniture stores, and other things that are in our communities that we don't own. A lot of restaurants in our communities that we might have used to own, but now we don't own. We don't own J&J anymore. We don't own Harrah's no more. But every ethnicity is allowed to come and plop down in our community, and we spend that money, So, in a way, we are a big part of the issue. It was just disturbing. I just been thinking about it since those murders last week. It's like how the murders become normalized in such a way that we just keep it moving. I came to the store the next day after the murders, and Channel 7 was there, and Channel 9 was there, and of course they want to ask that the victims and all that. They didn't ask, are you concerned with what happens at these convenience stores in your area? Do you think that they are part of the issue where they are creating environments that may be detrimental to anyone? Because anyone can be walking into the store. I'll tell a story. Used to live on 61st and Vernon. Had a friend named Cookie. Me and my buddy, we're sitting out playing some chess. And she's walking down the alley. She says, hey, I'm going to the store. You guys need anything? We said, no, we good. Literally, 3 or 4 minutes later, boom, 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 boom. We run down the alley towards the store because that's the store everybody's going to. She's laid out on the sidewalk. The people that were shooting at each other, nowhere to be found. Can we blame the store? Or is that just a coincidence throughout America that at every foreign ran store in America, this is where it jumps off? This has just become the meeting place that you may meet your death. That's another reason I try to avoid them as much as possible. The gas stations and whatever. I just try to avoid them. I can remember being by one, by the projects, and they started shooting. But we know that happens throughout our neighborhoods too. It doesn't have to be at that mart. It just happens that a lot of stuff happens there, and that's where you really see the disconcern for the kids and things in the neighborhoods. And I do personally feel like if these stores or things were ran by more black people, we could get some unity and some understanding and put some things in effect that says, no, you're not going to do that over here, brother. You're not going to be shooting and all this type of stuff. Because the problem is they don't care. How long do you think they was closed after that double homicide? No, they opened pretty much at their regular time. Maybe they were open 30 minutes later. And they let you put your balloons out there for a couple of days, and they come out and they take the balloons down. They used to it for whatever reason, because all they're saying is, how much money do we take from the black community back to our communities every day? Do we come down here every day at Big Salim's, 5-star food, the Gas Food Mart, Big Sam's, and are we able, so like you said, we got about 20 of them on the screen here. If each one of those stores brought in about, say, let's give them a low number, say they all brought in about 10,000 a day, which I think is a low number for how much they actually bring in, because you see people there all the time. 10,000 a day times 20, $200,000 a day that leaves our neighborhood and goes where? So if it's $200,000 a day that leaves the neighborhood in a month, how much is that in a month? $6 million? People always talk about there ain't no money in the hood, but obviously it's some money in the hood because the dope dealer find a way to get it. And these convenience stores find a way to get it. So we got to stop the believing the lies and things that seem to permeate everything. Hey, Brother Dorian, sorry I was on a different screen. So we got to be able to start thinking, they making that much money. And our money only stays with us. I think they said our money stays with us about 40 minutes in the black neighborhood. The Asian neighborhood, I think it stays 26 days, which is a great example because all the businesses in Chinatown are ran by Chinese people, so the money just circulates back inside the environment. Then a lot of the supplies they order come from their homeland of China or wherever, and it circulates right back into the economy. Jewish people, I think it's 21 days for the Jewish people because they take their money and they invest it in different things. So they got to let some of it hang out, but it hangs in their community for about 21 days. Everybody else, between 12 and 18 days. But ours, minutes. And most people probably haven't sat down and thought about, I never sat here and thought about how much money leaves this community every day, willingly. We are willingly a part of our own destruction in multiple ways. The killings and the money. What does the alderman say about this? I talked to Alden one time and he said, I would love to get rid of these stores, but we got to have some type of economics in the community. And a lot of the black people are just not in a position, willing, or able to open businesses. We can't be fluctuated. There's nothing wrong with hair shops and things like that. All that is needed. But we don't have businesses like corporation type businesses where there are high rises, where multiple people are working and investing and bringing that money back to the community. In our community, we got a lot of social programs. We live in what's called we talk about this a lot, it's called a segregated community. Segregated community is by force, not by choice. A separated community like Chinatowns throughout America, they're separated. They control their own power, their own destiny, and things like that. And we often say that, okay, if we try something like that, they're going to call us racist and things like that. And the Chinese man just laughs at you like, so? If we are doing what we want to do in our communities, it's our community. We happy with it. Call us what you want to call us. We're living the way we want to live as brothers and sisters of each other. I know we see all this Asian hate stuff going on now. I'm still missing that, but I'm sure it's the same people that have been oppressing us for, I almost said 5,000 years, but it feels like 5,000 years. Let me go back to this. I don't want to get too far off my subject here. So, when we look at all these shootings, hold on, I'm going to put it back on the screen here. All this different stuff, and these are just dating back. The dates are kind of scrambled. I don't know how they do it here. February 2020. 5 shot, 1 killed. February 26, 2020. So in Chicago, the gun violence has just been going up and up and up. A UOC student earlier this year, door one, convenience shopper, ID. I think the young lady was going to the store or whatever, shot and killed. This is just it's not a new phenomenon. But it just keeps happening and happening, and nobody is tying it together. We see everybody on the store, everybody's crowding around, and the very next day, they back in there. I was watching the documentary again on Netflix called Who Killed Malcolm X? And there's a part where they talk about he was murdered that morning in the Audubon Ballroom, and there was a dance that night in the Audubon Ballroom. And I said, how disrespectful were black people that had a man that was considered a leader among black people. I mean, I wasn't there. Maybe these people didn't feel that way. But that I would attend a dance in the same area where one of our leaders was assassinated. And so then I had to relate that to what's going on now of, do we even give a damn? And that's what it's coming down to. Do we even care about the death and the mayhem and the things that go on? Like right next to Big Salim's, there's a Sharks Fish. I don't mess with sharks either. Sharks is actually connected to, they have relations with the company Pangea, who owns a lot of property in the black neighborhood. All Indian people, all they run it together. I think the Indian people actually bought the Seaway Bank too. So they take their money and invest in black areas. Like I say, it's the 200,000 a day I quoted was just from the convenience stores. We're not talking about the properties and things that they own, the restaurants and things that they own in our community. How do you fight that? Do you fight that with Nikes and fancy cars and no education and I just want to be a ghetto king and then all the young people have no guidance? I was looking out the door today, looking at 2 young men standing across from the convenience store again. I'm looking at the convenience store. I'm like, okay, what they on? What they about to do? The cop car happened to go by, and they kind of played it off or whatever. Luckily, nothing jumped off. I don't know if they were trying to wait on somebody to come out or what their plan was. But obviously the plan is everybody's gonna go to this convenience store. I just want us to. A lot of times I do shows, and I just want to put the stuff on people's minds to think about. Hope everybody digs the kind of the new format I'm using here. Just trying to be more up and personal with the conversation, closer to the screen, not all behind the table. I think the setup's maybe a little cooler. We do take the calls. Like we always tell people. Oh, here you go over here. I always got to point this way. Our number is 650-560-4388. 650-560-4388. If you want to shoot us an email, how you got to do it? Up in here. Yep. Trying to do it like that. The show, 1965 at yahoo.com. We're going to be pretty on time tonight because I know everybody's watching the playoff games and things like that. Other stuff that don't pay us. But I guess in the world we live in, we got to find our relaxation where we can find it. But everybody start thinking about that. The way to get rid of these stores is to not patronize these stores. The way to get some of that government money is to not patronize these stores and get that money ourselves and support our brothers and sisters. Let's not be mad because a brother opens a store. Let's patronize that store that he opens. Maybe it's not Big Salim's. Maybe it's Mr. Thompson's store or something like that. But we got to get past the hate of ourselves, the hate of our brothers and sisters, the hate of our community. It's just a whole bunch of hate. It's crazy. I try to stay positive, and everybody knows that they come into my shop, we're probably going to have a positive conversation. It's not going to be too much negativity, unless I just totally don't agree with you. I'm just going to ask you to explain your point, because even the youngest person has a point. Even the guy that's on the curb, the homeless dude or whatever, has got a point. We just got to find a way to bring all these points together, and then we can unify under one umbrella, and then maybe we can move somewhere together. But the boat doesn't go in two directions at the same time. It's either going to go this way or it's going to go this way. And we got to learn to paddle together, or we ain't never going to get nowhere. Stay out of these corner stores. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
They gon' say that you was born for the police. That's why they shot you like 120 what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you will sleep in a war zone. Living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.